driving on the road one day and he looked up and he saw a sign. So, and this was very surprising. He said, "Papi, yes." So I looked back at him and I thought, "What's that?" And then he points and he showed me the Popeye sign.
How do you balance being a dad with your work life?
Actually, it's difficult. Should I say I don't? It's a difficult task. But as a dad, you have to make time for your kids. And I think that is critical to ensure that you bond with them. So one of the things I really try to do is, especially after work, is to spend time with the kids, play with them, read for them. My first son, one of the things I always do is read for him before he goes to his bed. And I've seen where that has had a significant impact because at 4 years old, he's reading fluently as a 4-year-old.
First of all, I must say I'm extremely lucky because we have a very strong team at Fontana. My sister is the CEO, Ann Chang. Her husband, Ray Terry, and he's the COO, Chief Operating Officer. And they're two of the best in Jamaica, their positions, maybe the best. But and I would give them much more credit than me for where Fontana's growth. And I'm also lucky, my wife is a store operations general manager, so a very strong team around. So, you know, some people, they have to be 24/7, 12 hours a day. I don't have to be that. So that's the first thing, I'm very lucky at that. But, you know, when it comes to being a father and a business person, the thing is that anytime you can give your kids, you give them. You make them a priority. Yeah, business is a priority, but why am I at a business working? What am I working for?
Being a dad is not an easy feat, right? You have to spend time with your child. In my case, I have a son, and he's very emotional, so he needs a lot of time. And being in politics, you are required to spend a lot of time in your constituency. You know, you're also being a dad to a lot of different kids, you know, outside of your household. Just to say, you might not be their father biologically, but you're still a father in them because you're giving them guidance and assistance when needed. In my personal life, what I try to do is every morning I wake up, I ensure that I bond with my son. I ensure that I get him to school, get him ready, get him to school. Most days, I will, before I go into my constituency, I'll ensure that I pick him up from school, bring him home, you know, and I'll ensure that I'm back at home in the evening to assist with homework and just to create that little family time, you know. And a Wednesday evening, I will take him to the football factory with me, you know, or on a Sunday evening, I'll take him to the football factory with me. So you have to create that the balance wherever you're not, whenever you're not there, when you're there, you need to ensure that you make up for that lost time. So it's difficult, and I think one of the things that I try to do is I try to ensure that it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes. Once I have that spare time, I try to spend it with my son.
And there's usually a stereotype surrounding fathers in Jamaica. Are you concerned about how fathers are portrayed in society?
I'm not perturbed by it. I think as fathers, we have to change that narrative. And the only reason why fathers are portrayed in that way is because of some of the things that have happened, and I would say more so in the past than now.
Back then, maybe in the 90s, early 2000s, dads kind of feel as if there was this feeling that, you know, you don't want to create that love for your child, you don't want to hug your son, or you don't want to kiss your son on his forehead. And I think we are gradually moving from that, because what you see today in society is that it's because of a lack of love why most of the youths today are the way they are, in terms of how aggressive they are and or they choose violence or they choose crime. And I think what I try to do is I try to hug my son, you understand? Tell him I love him, you understand? Ensure him get a kiss on him forehead, you understand what I say? that affection that is needed, because I didn't grow with a father. I've never seen this man yet. I just heard that he died one day. And tell you the truth, it never really come no way to me, because somebody else had stepped in, and that was my dad. And he assisted me to make me be the man that I am today. And the love, right, that I needed from a father, from a biological father, I didn't get that, and I saw what that did to me and my household. And so everything that I do today, every move that I make today, every step, every thinking, I calculate it just for my son.
There's no question in my mind. People talk and talk around it, but the single biggest problem Jamaica has is fatherlessness. We talk about the crime and indiscipline for the young men. In my view, there are many factors, but the biggest factor is fatherlessness. In other words, a lot of the young boys, especially girls too, don't have role models, they don't have mentoring. And with all due respect, ladies, at a certain age, the boys need a man to discipline them. Women at a certain age are not able to be blunt about it. Women understand women, men understand men. So the mothers understand the daughters, but they don't understand their sons well, what they need. And sometimes a boy needs a very firm hand, and women a lot of them can't be as firm as they should be with their sons. So if you ask me, Jamaica's biggest, if you could fix that problem, the fatherlessness, you'd fix 80% of Jamaica's problems. Our boys are the problem. They're falling behind in school. You see them from master in fourth form. They're well behind. And why? Are they stupider than the girls? No. I believe it's a lack that figure, a lot of them, that father figure, to keep them on track, rough them up. I mean, in a fatherly way, be firm. I have to be firm with my son often,
As fathers, we have to change that narrative. We have to get out there, we have to show the support, we have to be there for our kids. We have to ensure that we are always present. And I think that's where the focus needs to be placed, not on other persons having a narrative.
I think dads today, though, I think it's changing. I think newer dads are starting to play a more integral role in the lives of their son. And that is important, because we need that big brother program, that godfather program, to kind of guide the youths, and so that we can, redirect their path from crime and violence, because it starts in the home.
The law should be changed where they put the father's name on the paper, compulsory. A name on the paper doesn't mean that the father will take a greater role, but it certainly increases the odds. If my name is on the paper, I'm not sure I'm going to play a lesser role. My name is on the paper, I know for sure I will definitely play a greater role, for most men. So that is one change I would like to see in Jamaica. It's often been talked about, but it's never happened. I believe it should be, every child should have their father's name on the paper.
What is, or what are some of your fondest memories with your children?
There's so much. There's so much. But one of the things I always remember about my first son is we were driving on the road one day, and he looked up and he saw a sign. So, and this was very surprising. He said, "Papi, yes." So I looked back at him and I said, "What's that?" And then he points and he showed me the Popeye sign. But that was his way of, we have never been to Popeye's together, but that was very shocking, because he interpreted the word, but he pronounced it the way it looked, by saying Papias, and then I had to correct him. It's not Papias, it's Popeyes.
One of the things, my great bond with my children, I'm a book lover. I love books. I've written a couple books. I used to write columns. So I share books with my children, give them lots of books. And one thing I do with all the kids when we're young, I read books to them. Maybe that's one of the fondest memories. Reading books to my kids is one of the things I've always done, I love. And I believe when it comes to school, if the children read, they will do well in school. So that's advice of fathers about children doing well in school. I would say read with your kids. And studies show it. Studies show that parents who read with their children, the children do better in school.
What advice would you give to fathers on being better dads?
Simple. Spend as much time as you can with your children. Make the time for them. Make it a priority. If you're busy, forget what you're doing. Be with the children. You're on your phone, put the phone down. And they say it's a problem now with parenting, and not only fathers but mothers. The brother on the phone, the children come, and the parents are busy. They put the phone before the child. No, nothing must come before your children, because I'm a believer in this too. The more time you spend with the children when they're young, the more time they will spend with you when you are old. You have a lot of people say, why I can't see my children, this and that. I believe it is, common sense. You gave them a lot of love when they're young, they will give you love when you're old. That's my theory of life. So I put my children before everything. Anything comes up, if it's either or, children come first.
You're not soft if you say sorry, right? And because things happen, right? We're living in an ever-changing world, and persons leave for various reasons. They might can't get along with your mother, you understand? They might want better for themselves, and in finding better for themselves, they forget about you. You understand? So communication is key.
I am a young dad, but I think what is important is, and for any father, is your involvement with your kids. It's not about just the financial support. Anybody can do that, whether you're a father or not. But what is important is the mark that you lay on your kids in terms of the support, being there for them on a daily basis, watching them grow and being able to instill the level of discipline that is required to get them through life. Your kids want to see you as a father, and they will model you when they see you. If they don't see you, they're not going to model you, they're not going to know you, they're not going to know who you are. But as a father, if you're there, and there's this term called visible presence. Once you're there visibly, they will look up to you, and you just have to ensure that you are being a good example as a dad.
What advice would you give to the young men who are dating their son?
Well, stay focused. You make life as hard as you want it to be. You can do anything that you put your mind to, and you don't have to be in any rush to grow up. Let life take its natural course on you, because you will get there. You understand? A lot of the youths today, before they reach 31 or 25, they want to start look like them are 40. You understand? Just ensure that you progress naturally. Ensure that you read. Them say if you want to hide things from black people, put it in a book, or don't read. And I always encourage youths, whether you be a male or a female, to read. You understand? Read.
Family is more important than anything. In the end, that is all you're going to have. Friends come and go, the parties come and go, the sports come and go. Your family will always be there for you if you treat them good and they treat you good. Because not all families are good. And even the best of will can't create a good family. But you can try. Give it your best effort. Because when you have a good family, nothing better in the world.
Just be the best. Be the best at everything, anything you, be the best person you can be as an individual. The question is a little bit loaded. It's kind of hard because you give advice based on, it's difficult to give general advice, especially to kids. But when you know them, you can advise them specifically. But one thing that will always be common with any child is, go out there, be the best at anything that you do.